Salut, David Wallman here. Today we're going to talk about an important subject. We're going to talk about modulation. Modulation is simply a change of key in the same song or the same backing track. Often, us guitar players approach it the wrong way. Before we start talking about this subject, I would like to point out to those of you who are a little bit new to modes that this lesson might confuse you. You should see modes as unique and individual scales, regardless of the fact that they might be related to each other. It doesn't matter. You really need to be able, on the spot, to play any given mode on any key right away on the spot. It's maybe a little bit more to learn at first, but it's going to save you tons of time, even though what I'm about to share with you sounds like it's a shortcut. It's not in your case if you're not familiar with the modes. Let's get started. We've got an example here that is using two Aeolian keys. The first one is B Aeolian, and then the second one is C sharp Aeolian. A lot of guitar players, when approaching this kind of backing track, are going to use one position for B Aeolian, and then whenever the modulation comes, they're going to skip to the next position, C sharp Aeolian. So that means that they're going to use two different areas of the fretboard. One area of the fretboard for B Aeolian, and then they're often going to use the same exact position transposed to a C sharp, in this case 2 frets higher. And that's going to work fine. All the notes you're going to play are going to be in key, but the problem with this approach is that you're often going to have some kind of breakage in the ideas that you're sharing. If you're starting an idea in B Aeolian, and then the modulation happens in the middle of your idea, you're going to move to C sharp Aeolian, and often you're going to hear that, well, that idea was not finished. You had to start a new idea in C sharp Aeolian to kind of reposition yourself. If you're doing that, you're missing a lot in terms of flow of ideas. Let's compare B Aeolian with C sharp Aeolian. The notes of B Aeolian and the notes of C sharp Aeolian have some notes in common. For example, B is found in B Aeolian and C sharp Aeolian. That means that if I was lazy, I could play a full solo using the B note, and that would be fine for the full song. Not going to be very interested, but you have the right to do that. We found a common note. This is going to be called the tonal center. It's going to be the center to which you're going to bring all your notes together to create a smooth type of approach. Whenever you're improvising in B Aeolian, use the scale that is going to start with that B, using a position of your choice, and then using the same area of the fretboard, you're going to fit the notes that are found in C sharp Aeolian, starting with the B note. We picked the B note because that note is common to B Aeolian and C sharp Aeolian. Let's check out an example of modulation using the older technique, which is using a position of B Aeolian, and then whenever the modulation comes, using the same exact shape transposed to a different area of the fretboard so that it would fit C sharp Aeolian. You'll hear that there is a breakage in the idea. Now we're going to use a second technique, which is bringing both scales to the same area of the fretboard, starting with one of the common notes. And in this case, we picked B. If you're comfortable with your modal positions, you'll see that a C sharp Aeolian started from a B note corresponds to a B mixolydian shape. Remember, even though you're playing in a B mixolydian shape, you're not playing in B mixolydian. It's the backing track that determines the key of the song, not the position you're using. You're only doing that so that you can play both keys in the same area of the fretboard, and if you're comfortable with your positions, you're going to be able to start an idea in B Aeolian and naturally blend into C sharp Aeolian because you're using the same area of the fretboard. You don't have to make big skips, and it's going to sound nice and fluid. This idea always works. You're always going to find at least one note in common between two keys. The backing track that we used is available on my website, guitarplayback.com. There's a lot of other backing tracks on there that you can use to practice these concepts. Don't get overwhelmed. Practice at your own pace. Don't compare yourself to other players. Just take the information and apply it to whoever you are as a musician. I hope you enjoyed these ideas. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and until then, salut!